Once upon a time, in the heart of the Igbo land, in the great kingdom of Umunze, there was a prosperous king named Eze Obiajulu. His reign was marked by peace, wealth, and a powerful oracle that guided the land. But despite his success as a king, Eze Obiajulu's joy was incomplete. He had no heir, and this became the constant lament of the palace. One fateful night, the queen, Lolo Nkem, announced she was with child. The entire kingdom celebrated, and the king called for a feast and prayer, thanking Chuku, God Almighty, for his blessings. Months passed, and when the time came, the queen gave birth. But the midwives froze in terror as they beheld the baby. The child was a beautiful girl, but she had two heads. Two heads? Hmm. The king, torn between joy and fear, summoned the chief priest of the land. The priest consulted the oracle, and he spoke cryptically. The princess is a gift and a test. Her two heads carry the fate of Omunze. Protect her, for one head holds wisdom and the other head destruction. Let her be hidden until the day she finds her purpose. The king, though heartbroken, vowed to protect his daughter. She was named Adoma, beautiful daughter. One head was called Ada, the other was called Omalicha. And they kept her hidden in a secluded palace chamber, known only to the queen, her nursemaid, and a handful of loyal guards. As Adoma grew, it became evident that her two heads were not mere physical anomalies, but a representation of dual nature. One head, Ada, was calm, intelligent, and full of wisdom. The other head, Oma, was fiery, mischievous, and unpredictable. Despite their difference, the heads loved and protected each other, but their arguments often left their nursemaid, Nneka, exhausted. Adoma longed to see the outside world. From her chamber window, she would watch children play and hear the marketplace lively chatter. Why must I be hidden a secret? Oma asked Ada one day. We are different, Ada replied softly. The world fears what it doesn't understand. But how will we find our purpose if we never step outside? Countered Oma, her face fierce. As Adoma grew into a young woman, whispers about her existence began to spread beyond the palace walls. Suitors from nearby kingdom, drawn by her beauty and royal status, initially came to seek her hand in marriage. However, upon learning of her two heads, they fled in fear and disgust. She is an abomination, one suitor exclaimed. Who will marry a woman with two heads? Two heads! Hey! Hello. The rejection broke Adoma's heart. She often cried alone in her chamber, feeling cursed and unworthy of love. Why did Chukwokeke make us like this? She asked Ada. Because we are meant for something greater, Ada reassured her. Maybe, Oma said bitterly, but no man will ever love us. How are we going to get married? One moonlight night, driven by curiosity and Oma's rebellious spirit, Adoma sneaked out of the palace. Disguised in a heavy veil, she wandered into the marketplace. The vibrant color, the smell of roasted yam, and the hum of people's laughter overwhelmed her senses. She felt alive for the first time. But her joy was short-lived. A gust of wind blew off her veil, revealing her two heads. People began to shout, mothers clutching their children and running, traders abandoning their goods and disappearing. People were shouting abomination here and there. Before the crowd could react, Adoma ran, tears streaming down her cheeks. She returned to the palace, collapsing into Nneka's arm. They hate us, she sobbed. Not at all, Ada whispered. Some were curious. Perhaps there is hope. Days later, the kingdom faced an unprecedented threat. A neighboring kingdom, jealous of Omonze's prosperity, launched an invasion. The warriors were fierce, and the strategies outmatched Omonze's defense. The people begged Eze Obiajulu for a solution, but he didn't know what to do. Adoma approached her father. Father, let me help, she pleaded. The father replied, You cannot. The people fear you. They will never accept you. Let them see what I can do. The oracle said, I carry the fate of Omonze. Let me fulfill my purpose, father. Reluctantly, and with the plea of the elders, he accepted. Adoma, using Ada's wisdom, devised a strategy to outsmart the enemy. She instructed the warriors to create diversions at night, tricking the invaders into splitting their forces. Meanwhile, Oma's fiery nature motivated the soldiers, ignited their spirit with bold speeches. Under her dual leadership, Umunze's army struck with precision and courage. The enemy was defeated and peace was restored in Umunze. In the crowd, during the victory celebration, stood out a tall, mysterious warrior named Ikechukwu. He had fought bravely in the battle and had seen Adolma's brilliance and courage firsthand. Unlike others, he was not repelled by her two heads. Instead, he admired her strength, intelligence, and beauty. When Ikechukwu approached the king to seek Adolma's hand in marriage, the court erupted in disbelief. You would marry a woman with two heads? Do you know what you are doing? One elder asked. She is not an abomination, Ikechukwu replied firmly. She is a blessing, a queen who saved her people. Adolma, who had long given up on love, was moved to tears. For the first time, she felt truly seen and valued. Adolma sat on a stone bench beneath a tall odara tree. Her two heads turned away from the approaching figure. She knew who was coming, but pretended not to. Ikechukwu had relentlessly persuaded her to be married to him. I thought I made myself clear, Ikechukwu, Ada said, her voice calm, laced with pain. I cannot marry you. Ikechukwu stepped closer. His eyes softened as he looked at her. Adolma, you haven't given me a chance to explain. Oma, the fiery head, snapped at him. Explain what? That you only want the war strategist, not the woman. Don't think we don't see through you. Your intentions are very clear. You want us to be winning war for you. Her voice was sharp and defensive. She was the stubborn one. Ikechukwu knelt before her, his eyes steady. Adolma, is that what you really believe? That I came to Umunze only for your mind and not for your heart? Ada sighed, her voice gentle but firm. We've seen people look at us, Ikechukwu, with fear, pity, curiosity, but never love. How can I trust that you are really here for love? The warrior placed a hand over his heart. Because I see what others cannot see. You are not just two heads or a brilliant strategist. You are a woman who carries the weight of the world with grace. You are brave, compassionate, and strong-willed than anyone I've ever met. Adolma turned away, her heart conflicted. Ikechukwu did not give up. Every day, he came to the palace, finding ways to express his love. He left hand-carved gifts by her chamber door, each one depicting a story of her courage. He brought flowers, not the ordinary kind, but rare ones he had to travel miles to find. And each time he met her, he spoke with honesty. One evening, he found her in the royal library, engrossed in a scroll. Adolma, you are still strategizing, he teased gently. Ada didn't look up, but Oma did. What do you want, Ikechukwu? To understand you better, he replied, and to show you that my intentions are pure. Oma snapped. And what if they are not pure? What if you get what you want and you leave us? Who would want someone like us for the rest of their lives? You are lying. Ikechukwu's face grew serious. Oma, you are not a burden. You are a gift. And if I have to prove that to you for the rest of my life, I will. Ada looked up at him, her eyes filled with doubt. What if I'm never enough, Ikechukwu? He knelt beside her, taking her hands in his. You're already more than enough. It's the world that isn't ready for you, but I am. I fought wars, Adolma, but the greatest battle of my life is earning your trust. I would do whatever it takes to show my intentions are pure. Adolma took a step closer, her hands trembling as she reached for her cloth. Her voice was barely a whisper. Then show me, Ike. Touch me. Make me feel like a woman. Do you want me as your wife? Or do you only desire the strategist, the warrior ally? If you want me as your wife, then you should be able to touch me. As she began to undress further, Ikechukwu's eyes widened in shock. He immediately turned away, raising a hand to shield his face. Adolma, stop! His voice was firm, yet filled with urgency. What are you doing? She paused, her hands frozen mid-motion. Ikechukwu shook his head, still facing away from her. You are more than your body, Adolma. You are more than a strategist or a princess. But I can't touch you until I'm married to you. I cannot disrespect you like that. Adoma's heart raced, her emotions swelling. Why? Are you afraid? He turned his head slightly, enough for her to see the sincerity in his eyes. Because I respect you. I fought wars and faced death, but the greatest honor I could ever have is to call you my wife. And until that day, I refuse to dishonor you or myself by taking what is not mine yet. Omar's voice softened, a rare moment of vulnerability. And what if we never marry? Will you still wait? Ikechukwu nodded without hesitation. If that's what it takes to prove my love, then yes, I will wait. Adoma's hands dropped to her side, tears welling in her eyes. For the first time in her life, she felt seen. Not as a curiosity, not as a warrior or a princess, but as a person worthy of genuine love. You truly mean that, don't you? She whispered. I do, he replied, stepping closer but keeping a respectful distance. And I will prove it every day, not with words, but with action. Adoma smiled, a rare genuine smile that lit up both her faces. Then perhaps, Ikechukwu, you are the man we've been waiting for. In that moment, the wall she had built around her heart began to crumble, and she allowed herself to believe that love, true selfless love, might finally be hers. The kingdom of Umunze erupted in celebration as the day of Adoma and Ikechukwu's union arrived. The villagers, nobility, and warriors gathered in the grand palace square, which had been transformed into a sea of colors and splendor. Intricately woven palm fronds adorned the entrance, and the air was rich with thick aroma of freshly roasted yam, suya, and spicy pepper soup. Adoma emerged, dressed in a regal outfit of white and gold, her dual head crowned with coral beads and adorned with intricate woolly body art symbolizing love, unity, and strength. She walked gracefully, holding her head high, a symbol of her acceptance of her unique identity. Ikechukwu stood waiting, radiating in his warrior regalia, a tunic of rich red and black with gold embroidery. His lion-shaped pendant glinting in the sunlight, his eyes filled with awe, never left Adoma as she approached. The priest of Allah, the earth goddess, began the ceremony. Standing under a sacred iroko tree, he prayed for peace, unity, and blessing upon the couple. The villagers erupted in cheers as Adoma and Ikechukwu exchanged kola nut, a sacred gesture symbolizing their willingness to share their life and joy together. After the solemn rites, the kingdom celebrated in grand style. Dancers in vibrant costume performed energetic routines to the rhythm of the udu drum and the flute. The air rang with laughter, song, and well wishes for the couple. During the feast, Adoma surprised everyone by joining Ikechukwu in a dance of victory. Her graceful yet powerful moves reminded everyone of her warrior's heart, while Ikechukwu matched her step for step, a testament to their partnership. The elder declared the union a turning point for the kingdom, symbolizing acceptance and unity even in diversity. Months after their marriage, Adoma and Ikechukwu settled into a harmonious life. Their bond grew stronger, and their love became a beacon of hope for the kingdom. One evening, as the moon bathed the palace in its soft light, Adoma stood by her husband on the balcony, gazing at the horizon. She placed a hand on her abdomen, a radiant smile on her face. Dim, my husband, she said softly, her voice filled with wonder. I feel life within me. His eyes widened with joy as he gently embraced her. The gods have blessed us, Adoma. Our love has become fruitful. News spread quickly and the kingdom rejoiced once more. For months, Adoma carried the child with grace, her people showering her with love and gifts. The royal midwives tended to her carefully, knowing how precious the child was to the kingdom. Starlit night, Adoma went into labor. The palace was filled with an anticipation as the midwives worked tirelessly. Ikechukwu paced outside the chamber, his warrior courage faltering under the weight of his anxiety. Finally, a cry piercing the night air, a cry that sent a wave of relief and joy throughout the palace. The midwife emerged, beaming with joy. It's a son! It's a healthy, strong boy! The midwives exclaimed. Ikechukwu rushed in, his heart swelling with pride. Adoma lay on the bed, her two heads smiling weakly but radiantly as she cradled their son. The boy was perfect, a single-headed child with bright, curious eyes that seemed to take in the world with wonder. He named him Uzochukwu, meaning the path of God, symbolizing the divine journey that had brought their family together. The kingdom of Umunze celebrated once more, honoring the strength of Adoma and the love she had with Ikechukwu. The son's birth marked a new chapter of unity, strength and hope for the kingdom, and their story became a legend passed down from generation to generation. Did you enjoy this story? Tell me what you think about conjoined twins, because Adoma was obviously conjoined. They shared a soul, but with two heads. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever had stories of them? Share with me in the comment section. And what kind of courage did you think Ikechukwu had to marry a conjoined twins? That must have been true love, I must say. Kindly subscribe to our channel, turn on your post notification bell to be the first to know when another amazing story is made available. Like and share so others will see this story and learn this lesson of acceptance and love. Till the next story lovers, enjoy your day. Bye.